Hey.
Welcome to Keeping Up with the Cardassians, y'all.
What?
A podcast
What?
about pop culture.
What?
It started off as a Star Trek Deep Space Nine podcast. So we graduated into this crap show called Battlestar Galactica.
What is happening right
I like
now?
this intro better.
Yeah, if you want to go to your pop culture news, listen to the first half of the show. Second half, we dive deep into Battlestar Galactica.
What is happening?
Yeah.
I don't know how to take this right now.
This is Rob.
This is Nick.
This is Joe.
Hey,
And welcome, and thank you for joining our podcast.
What am I supposed to do now? Do I just go away?
I think you've been replaced effectively.
Okay. Take it away.
All right. I'm going straight into the news. I'm not wasting any time, guys. Yeah. No lube. We're going right into it. What do you guys got?
You gotta use lube.
Yeah. Throw Nick off.
A box office juggernaut has been finally dethroned.
More
this
Mario
week.
news.
Well, it's more about the other movie that dethroned it.
Oh.
So Mario made 18 million this week, which is still not bad.
Boo,
It's at
sucker.
520 million now.
Yeah. 20 million used to be a great opening.
But number one, Guardians of the Galaxy with 114 million, which sounds great.
It's not.
What's the budget? 380 million?
Marvel movies typically have about a 50 to 60% drop in week 2. So they're looking at maybe 250 million.
Word of mouth might help this because word of mouth has been good.
Word of mouth has been good. So they made 114 million in week 1.
So you're saying they're probably make about 60 to 70 million week 2?
Well,
That'd be high, I would think.
Volume 2 pulled in 147 million its first week. 6 years ago to the day. And that was actually softer than studios had projected. So
Superhero fatigue, man. It's a thing.
yeah, this isn't good. They're saying that this film is performing well around the world, and it's looking at a nearly $270 million worldwide start. And it has a 95% audience score compared to 83% for Ant-Man and the Wasp, 77% for Thor, 85% for Doctor Strange.
77% for Thor.
But we've seen
Is that
this.
Thor 4?
Yeah, Love and Thunder.
How did it get that good of a rating?
I
claim shenanigans,
because
man.
people knew what they were expecting when they went into it.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
So we'll see. I mean, the reviews for it are good. The word of mouth is good, but I don't think that's enough anymore. We've talked extensively about superhero fatigue.
Yeah.
And it's here. I think Marvel would be smart to stop releasing, go to one movie a year for a while. Slow down.
Or even just two. One at the beginning,
just two.
one at the end.
How many Marvel movies are releasing this year? Marvel.
They have slowed down, though, which is good.
Well, yeah, they have, because I don't think they just don't have enough in the tank right now.
No,
Right.
they don't. They actually don't have as much as I thought because you got Across the Spider-Verse coming out. Kraven the Hunter, that's really Sony, and it's going to suck. The Marvels. Ant-Man and the Wasp came out. Guardians of the Galaxy. That's it. So that's 5 movies, though. That's 5 Marvel movies.
DC has a ton, too, this year. Between The Rock, or wasn't Black Adam this year?
No.
Black Adam was in 2022.
Shazam, The Flash, Blue Beetle, and isn't there something?
Blue Beetle's direct to TV, though. Shazam.
I think that's a theatrical release. Fact check.
HBO Max, baby.
Oh, is it?
Shazam, Fury of the Gods.
Oh, you dead named HBO Max. It's Max. Thank you.
No, it's still HBO Max right now.
No,
What?
it's Max.
Is
babe.
it officially Max?
Yeah, that day they announced all that stuff for Max, it became Max.
With 3 X's. The Flash, Blue Beetle, August 18th. But, oh, wait, you're right.
One more time.
Initial reports was it was going to be a Max exclusive. It will be
What did he
buzzing onto
say,
the big
Joe?
screens.
Well, we all saw it coming.
Well, you're right.
Anytime Nick
An
states
Aquaman.
anything is fact, it's immediately fact checked. And you gotta, your batting average is low, my guy.
So
You should play for the
DC
Tigers.
has 4 movies this year. I really think Blue Beetle is a big mistake to release that theatrically. That first of all, that looks.
I agree.
Well, yeah, because
No one knows who Blue Beetle is. DC does not have a good track record. It does not look that great. I don't know if you've seen the trailer for it. It looks okay. It looks like a repeat of every other superhero movie
it looks
ever.
like a Marvel movie.
It looks like Shang-Chi, actually.
Okay.
They actually did a trailer, like a scene-by-scene analysis of it, and it looks like a near identical movie. So, there's that. They got that going for them. And then you got Aquaman at the end of the year.
Which is getting rumors had that the early screenings for that are terrible.
I can buy it.
Jason Momoa. So
Shut your mouth. Do not keep his name out your mouth.
I mean, the first
I
one.
will slap the crap
keep
out
my
of you.
Aquaman's
Yeah.
name.
The first one was not really. I mean, it was fun. It was different. It was cheesy.
Listen, those movies don't make waves.
Yeah. Lord, that's terrible.
Ryan Gosling would be a much better Aquaman.
You are blind and maybe a little bit handicapped.
Probably more than a little bit.
Oh, are you shaming?
No, I'm saying he is.
Are you able shaming me?
You're You're ableist.
God.
Shame on you.
Let's have a term for everything, guys.
Oh,
I'm
speaking of
phobic.
yeah.
Speaking of
a
terms,
jerk.
Speaking of terms, I have a question.
Oh no.
Okay, here we go.
We should have a Joe rant segment. We need to add a Joe rant segment.
Joe yells at clients.
Hey, hold on. We could do a song.
We could. What was it? The Family Guy skit where they gave Peter Griffin "What Bust My Balls."
Hold on.
No, it really bust my balls.
The rant, because it could be all of us, because we all have. I used to rant about things.
The rant. This is the rant for this week. When did STDs become STIs? They used to be sexually transmitted diseases. Now they're sexually transmitted infections.
Disease is derogatory.
Why? No, it's not.
I don't know.
I know, but I guarantee you that's the reason behind the language change.
Let me see if I can find out some information on this. But you go ahead and start ranting. But while I look up information,
But it was perfectly fine the way it was. It's a disease.
It's perfectly fine the way it was. No, it is a disease.
If you have an STD, it's
What
there's
if
no reason.
What if the disease identifies as an illness?
All diseases should identify as illnesses. But I was seeing I saw a commercial while I was watching the Battlestar Galactica Razor movie, and it was for ironically it was for the AIDS for the AIDS.
Oh yeah, the one that I saw
medication.
that I didn't know what it was about.
And they mentioned STIs. I'm like, and I've heard it before, but I was like, why are we changing the nomenclature for this?
Here's why. STD is not actually correct because gonorrhea is not a disease. It is an infection which needs an antibiotic. So
What is a disease?
I don't know.
Yeah,
but this is what it's saying. This is what it's saying. Okay, here's the STD, like the term venereal disease before it, is older and less scientific. It's also more popular because it's the one most of us grew up with. STI is more accurate and comes with less historical and political baggage, but it's not as widely known. That's what this says.
Historical and political what political baggage does STD have?
AIDS crisis in the 80s. That's the political baggage because it was associated with gay men. STDs were associated with gay men.
Okay, sure.
Definition of infection: the process of affecting or state of being infected. Wow, thanks for the redundancy there.
What about disease?
Disease is a disorder of structure or function in a human, animal, plant, especially one that has a known cause and distinctive group of
They're all
symptoms.
diseases. I say we go back to STDs.
I got it. This one comes from PlannedParenthood.org. It says most of the time, the reason why we can't call them STDs is most of the time they never get to the disease stage and they might not even know they have them. STIs usually don't cause symptoms and they often can be treated or cured with medicine before they cause long-term
illness
harm.
doesn't cause symptoms?
And yeah, sometimes you can have an STI and not know it.
I say bring back the D.
And it's an infection, not a disease.
I've always been about the D.
And it's an infection, not a disease that gets passed between people during sexual contact. So using infection makes more sense, which makes sense. It is an infection that's passed between people, not a disease. It becomes a disease when it's not treated, but it starts off as an infection.
So is this brand new news? Have we just learned about infections?
I just learned.
Why didn't we go?
I think what makes your rants better is how angry you actually look when you're ranting. People on YouTube can see it, but you just look so pissed off.
I
about
am.
it.
Like it's like we just learned about infections, the word infection, and what it is. Now we're retrofitting everything to infections.
But it's more scientifically accurate because another one it says an STD is an advanced form of an STI. A disease has clear symptoms and disrupts the body's natural process. An STI doesn't necessarily do that, but an STD does. So
I think this is all circle talk to me. This is
I don't think
unnecessary.
I don't think it really matters for a general guy or woman or whatever you call it. It's just if I said to a woman I have an STI or an STD, she's gonna be revolted either way.
If you said STI, she'd be like, "What's that?"
Yeah. Good. What is an?
I
I
mean,
have a
what is an-
sty in my eye.
Yeah.
I think people would know what an STI. I would know what a STI is.
No, you would have to think
No,
about
you-
it. You would absolutely have to suck.
If I-
At one
pause.
point, you had to think what STD was. You both
but
sound
if I
like
said-
old men.
No.
Like it was so much better back in the day because it
says
was
the-
what I
says
understood.
the youngest one on the podcast.
STD
Are you
had great-
ageist?
STD had a great marketing campaign.
If I said someone had an STI, you would like furrow your brow, and I'd say it's like an STD. You'd be
would-
like, oh, okay.
I hear STI.
Yeah,
I
but
would
like,
hear UTI.
But today,
That's exactly what I
you
hear.
talk to someone younger and you say, "Oh, I have the clap." They don't know what the clap is.
I say it's an STD.
Yeah, we do, but they don't because terms become outdated with time. Once we have more scientific
Then we
facts.
need to-
Let's test this theory. Let's bring my daughter in here and say, what's the clap?
Let's not do
Joe
that.
has it.
What doesn't Joe have? Clap on.
I don't have a lot.
Let's give Joe a new disease every week.
That's not fair.
Let's give him diabetes.
Uh,
Diabetes is a disease.
That's an infection. Thank you very much. They're all infections.
Could you imagine if diabetes was an STI
You know
or
what-
D? That would be
If you-
bad.
I mean, I think a lot more people would have diabetes.
yeah,
It'd be even more
it would
prevalent
be
than
an
it is.
epidemic.
So as we talk, I just write down like really brief synopsises of what we're talking about. My synopsis is STI versus STD. Like
Who wins in a
who wins
cage
in a
match?
battle? Oh gosh.
Oh,
Oh goodness. Oh, got it.
So that was on my mind.
I appreciate that. I have been sitting on a rant for later, so you'll have this week. And one of these days, I'll take one.
Okay.
All right.
That's exciting. You've
I mean,
teased.
Literally, it's on my show sheets for weeks.
Yeah.
I could rant about anything.
Keeping with the Cardassians, go.
I mean, they record without me, so what?
Oh, there it is. There it is.
So
Oh,
I-
writer strike.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, writers are on strike now because they are worried about pay. Which, Rob, you were mentioning this that at one point they were on 25 episode seasons and they strike because of bad pay, and then now they've cut down the episode total. So now they're striking because there's not enough episodes, and now they're not getting enough pay. It's almost like there's-
Weird.
But guess who continues to make lots of money? Warner Brothers, Universal,
Netflix.
Netflix. They're billionaires. They're all
Disney.
billionaires.
Netflix is in the hole by a lot.
Well, yeah, anybody could see that coming because they throw money at people.
Yeah.
Dumb
I mean,
stuff. Yeah.
They threw. Did Dave Chappelle make them money? That's what I'm because that was a huge payout for
I
him.
think in the grand scheme of things he will, but I don't think it was necessarily his special that made him money, but the exposure of Netflix through Dave Chappelle that made them money. You get what
mean,
I'm saying?
a little bit. I'm still a bit unclear on how Netflix operates versus traditional media because there's really no commercials.
Yeah, there's no commercials on Netflix, right?
So you are
But they're charging you $20 a month.
right. So are they thinking that like when R&D sits down and researches this and says, okay, Chappelle's going to bring us X amount of money.
Yeah.
Is it because the exposure is going to bring in a certain number of new
New
subscribers?
subscribers would be my thought process.
Okay, so
yes.
my thought here's my stupid brain. I see Netflix almost like McDonald's
Okay.
in that I question how many more people are there out there to really subscribe to Netflix. If you don't have Netflix by this point, really, I mean, how much more of the pie is there for Netflix to take?
I have heard that more
They're
people
losing
recently.
subscribers.
Yeah, I've heard more recently people are losing. So maybe it's not so much about growing; it's about maintaining at this point.
I think they're doing the same thing that happens with a lot of these big corporations. They've lost touch. At first they were cutting edge, like a Family Video, like a Blockbuster, and then at some point they've lost touch of what's actually going on in the world. So and then they keep being like, "No, this is what we need." So they throw money at it. They keep throwing money at it instead of innovating. and then they lose. And I think that's what Netflix is doing. They're no longer innovators. In fact, they're starting to do everything everyone else is doing. They've introduced commercial plans. They're now one of the more expensive subscription services. They're getting rid of content really instead of adding it because they've lost all these shows because they're to their old
They canceled
streaming
some
networks.
popular shows.
They've canceled some popular shows. They got rid of Henry Cavill on The Witcher.
Actually, he kind of got rid of himself, didn't
I know he did, but I heard though that's over creative differences because they took too many leaps, and so he left the series.
he wanted to be faithful to the source material.
He did because he's a super nerd, as we know.
Yeah.
How's that going, Joe?
He's a tough one. Yeah, that's a tough cookie.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
Meow.
Although I do try to play the nerd angle.
I'll give him some diabetes. That tough cookie.
Because it's an STI now.
Because it's an STD. I'm
Look
very
at us
stubborn.
being politically correct.
I'm a stubborn person.
Yeah, I'm gonna give women STDs, not STIs. Is that what you're saying?
Hey,
Yes.
hey, or men.
Or men?
Yeah.
Joe's straight though.
You don't know that.
Have you seen him?
That's true. You've never officially announced your sexuality.
You're assuming my sexuality.
I am.
And based on a plethora of text messages I've sent to the both of
That-
you,
that really
I don't even know. I don't know how you could even come to that conclusion.
That's true. That's true.
I've given you hard
Yes, you have.
evidence.
Yeah, you have.
To the contrary.
Someone once told us that our talk, that we talk like this, is baiting people, baiting the
Ooh, who's
LGBT
said this?
community. It's not important.
Yeah.
It's not important.
What are we baiting them to do?
We're misleading them to make them believe we're something we're not. So, like, when we talk
Allegedly.
about Jason Momoa
We're
being
ca-
attractive,
So we're
Oh,
we
catfishing.
talk
We're
about
Jason
catfishing.
we're
Momoa-
catfishing people.
Now, why?
Jason Momoa is
I
attractive.
think that's a dumb comment.
I think it's okay to say other people are attractive of the same sex. I think that just
so.
makes
Just because
me- wouldn't it be more,
because the audience assumes that we're three straight men, that means I can't say that Jason Momoa is an attractive man or Ryan
And
Gosling is attractive.
it's
or
not that you can't say they're attractive. It's you can't say you would hook up with them, or you can't.
Have you
joke
but you don't know
about
that.
us
You don't know
hooking
that I
up with-
wouldn't.
Have you seen Jason Momoa?
I mean, like, yeah. I mean,
Have you seen him?
I think we live in an area where now sexuality isn't so binary, and it's also fluid. It's not as static as it used to be. So I think you can make those comments because maybe who knows? I mean, I'm like 100% sure I'm straight, but I mean at the same time,
I don't think anybody's 100% sure they're anything. To be frank with
I
you,
think you can be.
I don't.
I think you can be, and I think part of it can be the product of your upbringing as well. So I grew up in an era where there wasn't really a choice. So because of that choice, I've been forced into this line of thought, and that's just who I will always be. You know what I mean? Like, this is like I'm 100% this way because I grew up in an era where you couldn't be unsure.
You don't think there's a point where you grow out of your upbringing?
I think your upbringing always affects you, whether it be subconscious or
I
consciously.
think those are two different things.
Yeah, it could be.
I think your upbringing can affect you and does, but I think you can grow out.
You
of that.
can. You absolutely can.
Or
but-
even make the simple choice to not be a part of that? Because
So I
I'm
think,
not in the family business.
but I think I can say with certainty that I could sit here and say I'm 100% straight, but I've also gotten rid of the stigma of the idea of if I wasn't, it wouldn't be a big deal. Like that used to be a stigma, would be like, oh man, you're gay. You know, like that used to be a thing. That was a homophobic thing that existed. Or like if you even said another man was attractive, you'd be, oh, are you gay? You know, like more homophobic talk. Now that's kind of gone away. In fact, actually, they don't really joke about that even in comedies anymore. The last comedy I remember them joking about that was probably like 40-Year-Old Virgin. Or like, you want to know how I know you're gay? You like Coldplay. And they would go back and
Yeah,
forth.
that's a funny joke.
Yeah. Also, might be a good way to tell.
Early Coldplay was pretty amazing.
Show of hands, who likes Coldplay?
Not now. I don't like them now. Show of hands, who likes Coldplay before 2010? Post 2010, not so much.
Yeah.
I don't like their newer stuff. They're a little too pretentious for me these days.
They've always been pretentious
No.
and terrible.
No, you're terrible and pretentious.
I
But
watched.
I think that's a fascinating. Obviously, we're going to shift gears to something else, but I think that's a fascinating conversation about that. Like, because we're dealing with different eras
That's
view
a
on
Patreon
sexual.
talk.
We can expand on this on Patreon, but I
Yeah.
do think that's in. I don't know that I would use the word baiting. I don't think we're baiting. I just think that we're
master.
We're comfortable.
Yeah, we're comfortable.
You didn't catch my joke.
I always
Baiting.
am good at master debating.
I'm good at masticating, chewing, food.
I think it's masticating, not masticating.
I know, but I wanted to say masticating.
Yeah.
It is masticating. Masticating. I like that. Masticating.
Anything else, guys?
So I watched.
And we'll continue that later.
It made me think of it.
When is the podcasters strike?
I know, right? You talked about Netflix and how they generate money.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing, I was watching the movie Ghosted on Apple TV today.
Oh, I've heard of this.
So it's Chris Evans and Ana de Armas. And one thing they do, and I never really paid attention to a Netflix special or a movie because I don't really watch a lot of them. But like with this movie, they product placed the hell out of it. So like Chris Evans was holding a cell phone, and you could see the Apple logo.
That's one of my. I watched. I'm sorry to interrupt, but
no, you're not.
No, I'm not sorry
That's
because I will lose my train of thought. So put a pin in that.
Hey, whatever happened to your notebook?
Boom! It's up here, baby.
He's evolved.
Have I not brought excellent I ranted on STDs on the fly.
It's true.
Anyway, but I saw like a TV special or like a little documentary about product placement and the production of TV shows and movies, and how if you notice it, that it's meant to be noticed. Like no product placement that's ever been noticed is on accident. So I'm always, ever since I saw that, I'm always looking for it.
I always look for it. It doesn't. A lot of people get really bugged by it. It doesn't bug me so much, except for when it becomes obviously blatant, like in your face blatant, like let me show the iPhone logo. Like you can just hear you can hear the iPhone texting, and that's fine. Like
he's purposely holding it like this while it's in the shot. So you have the Apple logo on the back. There's no case. It's just blah blah blah, talking to whoever it was, and just the phone was hold right there. If you could see it on YouTube, just right there.
And you know the producer, the director hates that when he's like, oh gosh, I have to do this shot where I'm like focusing on Burger King or whatever. Yeah. It's got to drive him nuts. I don't mind product placement though. I know it's part of the game. Everything has product placement. You go to a baseball game, product placement. Hockey, football, soccer. I mean, soccer, football. Yeah, but in Europe they wear freaking
sponsorship.
That's product placement.
It is, but it's a different form of.
It's a different form of it. Yeah,
placement.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, to me, it's a different side of the same coin. It's kind of a thing.
I'm sure Apple. I'm sure Apple gives them money.
Yeah.
It is a. Yeah. The line is blurry between sponsorship and product placement because they're providing money for the production of that, whatever. So not sorry for interrupting.
So moving on from that, but Ghosted, good movie. You know what? It's an action comedy, so it's of course you're gonna have a ton of leaps, but Chris Evans was great in it. It's kind of a role reversal. Ana de Armas was the hero, and he was kind of like the person she had to save.
Mm-hmm. That's a good looking movie.
Yeah. That's what I want to comment on. I'm watching this movie, and I think I mentioned it on Patreon last week, where I'm looking at this movie going, who's more attractive?
Don't know.
Like, they would pan from her to him, and I'd be like, man, she's gorgeous. And they'd pan to him, I'd be like, God dang, he's gorgeous.
Are we baiting again? Is this baiting?
It is.
No, I'm going both ways here.
Okay.
Oh, that's still baiting because you don't actually go both ways.
Shut
you
the
don't.
Frack.
Yeah,
can we edit that over as a frack?
We could.
Yeah.
But I should add a frack in there.
You should. But seriously, man, these people, that's a gorgeous movie.
It's a good looking movie.
And then it showed Adrian Brody is that his name? Adrian Brody? Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like,
yeah. More Evans, please.
Yeah, more Evans, more Darmus, please.
So what would you give the movie as a whole? Did you finish the movie?
Yeah, I had a lot of fun watching it, to be honest with you. I'd give it a 7 or an 8 because I was in the mood for escapism.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And my son was in the office all week this week, so it was trash. So I had to come in here and clean it up. So I watched the movie as I was doing that, and I found myself watching the movie more than I was, tidying up the office.
Yeah.
I can tell.
No.
Hey, here's the second time today. Fuck you.
Frack you.
Man, there's a lot of F-bombs in this episode.
It's been a week.
Considering that Rob wanted this as a show for his children to listen to in the future.
Yeah.
But I say
I'll be dead by then.
By the time they get to this episode, they'll probably be older.
No, they're going to listen to the first 5 and be like, no more.
No, we're done with this.
Yeah.
I have that on my watch list. So
some
I'll have to
really
get around
cool
to it.
cameos in this movie too.
Yeah.
Like some really cool ones. And I'm not going to spoil them for you, but there's some great cameos in this movie. And the best part of them is they're legit cameos. They're little bits and out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just looked up the cameos, and they're pretty good. Those are good, some good cameos.
You can't have anything nice with this guy.
I'm not going to say them. Gosh, jerks.
You're probably not going to watch the movie, though, are you?
No.
So
I mean, it's on my list, but who knows when I'll
I got a
around
ton
to
of
it.
shit on my list, too.
Yeah.
Joe's still
cares?
trying to watch The League from 15 years ago.
Oh, yeah. I forgot that was a thing.
I just started watching on Apple TV last night Silo, which is interesting. It was a book.
It's Rebecca Ferguson, right?
Yeah, Rebecca Ferguson. It was a book series that was popular about 10 years ago. And it was a guy who self-published, I think. It was a short story, and it became a big deal. Kind of like The Martian did. That was a self-published book. And it's a story about people who live in a silo, but they don't know why they live in a silo. They just know the world outside sucks, and they don't know what happened, and them figuring out the mystery of why they live in it.
Yeah.
Really, really good. First episode had, oh my gosh, what's her name?
That kind of
from
sounds
The
like
Office.
that narrows it down.
Not Pam, but the other love.
Jim.
No, but his other love interest in the show was
Oh.
Gina. Karen Filippelli.
Yeah.
What was her actual name? Oh my gosh.
Oh, she's
Rashida
famous
Jones.
Rashida Jones.
Yeah. She's on the first episode. She's amazing. It's a good watch. I give it a 7.5 out of 10. And I really enjoy it. I like what Apple TV's doing. They're releasing some really good content. I'm watching the one called Extrapolations. It's okay. It's not amazing, but it's okay. I love Shrinking. I love Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso's so good.
Except for this season is
You're
kind of a
full of
letdown.
crap.
This season is a big letdown. It's
It's
all
not.
over the place.
It is a bit flaky. You're right.
It's messy.
But
It's not
It's good.
it's not that it's bad. It's by Ted Lasso standards bad. By normal comedy standards, it's still really good.
That's good normal
But
comedy.
Ted Lasso
sucks.
standards not as good.
Yeah.
So Apple TV, I love what they're doing. They're knocking it out of the park. I'm pretty happy with them right now.
Very cool. What did I do today? I was on another podcast this morning before you guys got over here.
Oh, well. Look at you.
I know.
Expanding the brand.
First of all, I invited you guys. I know Nick had to work, and
Yeah.
I don't
I have,
think you even
I have children
Yeah.
obligations.
yeah, they suck. Kids suck.
Mhm.
So I was on TrekCast today, and the reason I was invited on was because they were doing something fun, which was a Starship draft. And what the Starship draft is all the positions of the main bridge and a couple extras.
Mhm.
You had to draft people from various IPs across the board.
Yeah.
So
you could-
anything pop culture?
Yeah, so anything pop culture. So, for example, for fun, where does my list go? Oops.
Whoa, bro, you got to calm down with
that
your
was loud.
slamming and banging.
My chief
I'm gonna-
engineer, I drafted B.A. Baracus from the A
Okay.
team.
Nice.
So, and then once you draft someone from that IP is done. No one else can touch that IP.
Who?
Really?
I'm reaching for my phone. Who was the guy? I would have drafted BA as my security officer. But who was the Murdoch?
Murdoch.
I would have drafted Murdoch as my engineer because he's crazy. Like he would come up with some weird
Actually,
stuff.
he'd be my captain because he's going to do whatever. He's just going to go, and he's going.
No.
Yeah, I'm taking him as my captain.
So
captain, my captain.
They're actually going to send me it. We're going to put it on our YouTube
Yay!
as well.
Yay!
And check out their show, man. It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. They let me be me, which is kind of nice. And here,
Well, we don't let you be you.
No. Here in the near future,
What then? Who are you?
Yeah. When have we stopped you from being you?
I'm joking.
You just
joking.
No, this is a fight.
Yeah, you just said the F word twice.
Yeah,
To
twice.
me. Yeah.
You know how many times we've said the F word in this conversation?
You not much.
Not
Him
a
a
How
lot.
many times did you get ambiguously gay on that show?
None.
See,
See, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
true.
Were you really being you?
But
You were just baiting people.
they're also going to help me with a little project that we're doing for our Patreon here pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be part of that,
nice.
which is fun.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna, and so yeah, it was nice little. It was nice fun, and then I'll post something. I posted something on Instagram just now. Which today is Sunday, and then I'll get you guys some material for Instagram and all that other stuff.
And it's always nice to keep our feet dipped in the Trek pool.
For sure. I did years ago when we first started doing this. I did Trek trivia with them on Discord.
Yeah.
This is a long time
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
And it was nice to kind of get out there and do something different and interact with these cats.
Because it's kind of Trek light right now. There's not a lot of Trek. I mean, Picard just ended.
Picard just ended. Yeah.
June 14th is the next. Is it June 14th?
Yeah,
I think,
which
yeah.
we're gonna do. We're gonna do those YouTube
we'll
videos
bring
again,
back-
and you'll be able to do those
Yes,
you watch
because-
Discovery or
Strange
Strange
New
New
Worlds.
Worlds.
He's watching Discovery too.
Yeah, but I watched season 1, so I'm all caught up.
Yeah, you're caught up.
And I'm
It's
I'm
only 10
invested in that
episodes.
one.
It's not
Yeah.
too hard to keep up with. Say the podcast name one more time for our fans.
TrekCast.
TrekCast. Yep. Okay.
We forward their stuff on Instagram all the time. We
Yep.
repost it in the stories.
Well, it's good to it's good to advertise other podcasts. We used to do that a lot back in the day when we were a part of a network that shall not be named.
Even before that, we did.
I'm kidding around.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did that a lot.
I know we used to. Yeah. I'm
The
kidding.
Odd
When we were part
Pods
of.
Media Network.
There's still some.
the mammoth conglomerate that is Odd Pods Media.
Come on, we're not going to be those people. We're nice. We're
Those
sweet.
people?
We're kind.
Yeah, what do you mean those people? What do you mean those people?
I'll leave it
Have
for
you ever
you to
seen
decide.
Tropic Thunder?
I'm baiting you.
Have you even seen Tropic
Are
Thunder?
you baiting me?
I'm actually helping some of the Odd Pods people help me out with this project too.
I know. I can't wait. I know what you're going to do with
I
that. and I'm
Odd
looking
Pods
forward to it.
conglomerate
I
media
really
network
hope they do it.
juggernaut.
Which I got to talk to you guys show meeting after this about that particular bullet point.
Okay. What else do we want to talk about?
Razor.
Oh, you ready to move on to Razor?
Yeah, man,
Sure.
let's go.
All right, we're at 30 minutes. This is like the first time we're on schedule. Actually, we were on schedule last week too. We've been pretty good.
We've been really long-winded for a couple of weeks, months now.
Yeah.
No. Last week at 35 minutes, we switched to
But
Battlestar
we're
Yeah,
still
and
an
then
hour
last
and
week-
at 40 minutes
Yeah,
long.
and then last week when
That's
the
fine.
podcast ends, it's an hour 45.
Yeah.
Every week, no matter what.
This is why, because we're getting sidetracked already.
Razor.
Thank you.
Razor. So Razor, actually, we're going a little bit out of order in error order because technically Razor was recorded after season 3, but we're watching it after season 2 because it fits better in chronological order with season 2. So Razors takes place during the first 30 days of Lee running the Pegasus. And as he's running the Pegasus, he's getting his crew together. He's trying to figure out who his XO is going to be. And as he's going through all this, we're getting flashbacks as well to show Rear Admiral Kane's time in charge of the Pegasus and what led her down the path we get. So we also get further events all the way back to Bill Adama when he was a Viper pilot during the first Cylon War. Which
Terrible
is,
scene. The actor was terrible.
Continue.
Can you let me finish? Wait.
He's in
no.
a blazer, for God's sake.
It's true.
I don't remember. Okay. Anyways, not important. Moving on. Basically, we get this thing where Lee wants a new commander, and he wants basically someone who represents what Admiral Kane's command was. So he picks, what is her name? Why am I blanking on her name right now? He picks Kendra Shaw. Major Kendrick Shaw is his first in command.
Another Shaw.
And she is his first in command, and he's got her on basically a rescue mission. They've lost some people, and he puts Shaw on the rescue mission. But during the course of this rescue mission, she has flashbacks to her time with Kane as well. And we see Kane initially as kind of like, was she a hard commander? A little bit, but she had a soft spot for her.
Yeah. Oh.
For her what?
For her.
Lover.
That too. For her her commanders. You know, they would have the dinners initially with her.
She's trying to be Cisco.
Yeah. They would have the dinners, and then she went nuts. You look confused. You look
I
like.
mean, I've never heard of somebody who has a soft spot for their commanders to put one in their head.
No, I mean it shifts. I'm getting there, bro. I'm summing it up. So at first, Shaw's like, "Look, we're not on this quest for revenge. We're not going to be that way." And her and her XO are really close, so close that he's inviting her to his home to see his daughter because she misses her, and they get along. And she's like, "Keep me in track, XO. Make sure it's not about revenge." And then as she starts planning these things, it becomes very clear she's losing herself in them. It's all about revenge. And partially this is because it's revealed that her lover, Gina, was a Cylon, right? So she was hooking up with Gina all along, and she turns out she's a Cylon. So this changes her. And she orders an attack when they're outnumbered, and she orders the gun from her XO and shoots him in the head. Not cool. It's not a cool move to do, guys. And then she hands the XO order over to Fisk. During all this, we see Kendra Shaw's time when she's ordered to go to the fleet and take what they need from them. And we see that Kendra is the first person to shoot and kill a civilian.
30 seconds.
I know that I'm trying to sum this one up, but it kind of
those are episodes. This is a movie. Give them some slack.
It's all over the place, right? We learn actually through all this that they're attacking a different sort of a base star. It looks like it's an old school base star, and it's got the old school Cylons on it that look ancient and different. And it turns out they're protecting something called a hybrid, which was the first evolutionary step, or dead end as they called it, between skin jobs as they were.
Hot.
Yeah. So you have this Cylon talking, and as Kendra's laying there shot, dying on the rescue mission after everyone has escaped, the hybrid says to her that Starbuck will lead you to the end of the human race and blah, blah,
Could have
blah.
saw that coming a mile
Going
away.
off on and on and on and on. And then they blow up and they all die. So they rescue the science team, and on Galactica, Adama reflects on Kane's legacy and proposes a commendation for Shaw over basically Lee's thing that they butchered innocent civilian, and basically they close their arguments noting history's first draft will be written in their logs. And that's it. I mean, I did a terrible job summing this one up, but
I give that a 7.5.
This one is
out of 10.
This one's kind of hard to sum up. It's a little all over the place, right? This episode, it jumps all over the place. So I will. Oh, go ahead and start.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say it was nice to see Kane again, even though she's evil. I like Kane. I like Michelle Forbes.
Bitch. She's a bitch.
She's not at first. She's fine at first.
No, you know what I want to say? Finally, wasn't a man's fault.
It wasn't here. It wasn't. She lost it, man. She was fine.
Yeah, because of what? The Cylon. If she did,
she got emotionally attached, exactly, and she lost it. But again, this shows the difference between her and Adama. Adama was emotionally attached to a Cylon, and
he wasn't banging a Cylon.
I know, but he viewed her almost like a daughter. I feel like that would be worse. When you trust someone.
Do you know how things work?
I mean, I feel like I got a rough idea. I don't know. I don't know. I just see like they were faced with a lot of the same decisions.
Number
and
6
she
gets
just
around.
chose. Yeah, she does.
That model gets around.
Do you think? All right, because we're seeing that with Baltar. She has feelings for Baltar, right? The number 6, Caprica 6 does. Mm. We saw Gina. It almost looked like she still had feelings for the Shaw, didn't it?
Well,
or not Shaw, not
Kane.
Shaw, Kane.
Well,
I'm screwing up names today.
Isn't love a big thing with the Cylons?
They're trying to fall in love, but like they have these missions. They're supposed to infiltrate and be double agents, and then they end up falling in love or having feelings for them.
So I mean,
they're bad at their job.
I ranted earlier, but I could rant on this movie.
Yeah.
Cue the theme music.
I will say that there are some good things I did. There were some things I really liked about this movie, and that is that it answered some questions and it filled in some backstories to pretty important
Yes.
plot points that they've mentioned in the show.
Right.
That you were like, oh, I would like to know what happened with there, like the XO being killed.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a nice scene actually. I like
how Gina got into the prison.
Yeah.
What happened there?
Yeah.
There was another one.
I think even the end of the first Cylon War, I like that little bit where it just ended. They just took off and left.
Yeah, a little backstory in the Cylon War.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun to see the old model Cylons too.
Yeah, those are the models from the 70s.
Yes.
And the takeover of the 15 ships.
Yes.
Yep.
That was a third thing that I was like, okay, I enjoyed getting a little bit more context, because when they mentioned it in that episode that Kane was in, and you're like, well, she took over 15 civilian ships, and ravaged them for whatever. And you're like, God damn, I would, or God's damn.
Yeah, there you go. Get it fracking right.
But frack that, man. So say we all.
The "So Say We All" chant was a little cheesy.
It was very cheesy.
It usually is cheesy though, because we would never say "So Say We All."
But I don't like it. I don't mind it as like a call and response. Like if you say something, if you're making a speech and you say, say something of importance, and the group says,
Oh,
say
it's
we
like-
all.
yeah,
Well,
the
it's
chant,
like,
so say we all. Say we all.
Like Adama did in the miniseries where he's like, so say we all. And they're like, so say we all. And he wasn't happy with it. So say we all. And then they said
like,
it
that's
back.
fine.
Yeah.
Or
call and response.
Yeah, but like so they're doing this chant. So say we all. So say we all. So when does that end?
I don't know.
So say we. Oh, so crap.
Like,
And then
the first person to stop doing it probably
Gets shot in the head.
Shot.
And then you have Gene on the background. So say we all.
I know.
So
She's like, so say we all.
So say we all.
Y'all gonna die,
You're gonna
mother-
die.
So they're really mimicking humans
Yeah.
Yeah.
down to the intimate details.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that would be the big advantage at that point as a Cylon. They have no clue. You could really mess with them. Why would you think? Because I get the impression that, like here on Earth, we have all these different countries who constantly go to war with one another. I get the impression that the colonies were just all at peace. There was no infighting.
That's kind of the vibe
They
you
were
get.
Yeah,
on-
that
Yeah.
is the vibe.
So you would never suspect a person like me or you to come in and try to steal secrets. It would just be like we're all on the same team. So yeah, sure, of course you can look at this. You would think nothing of it. So now that the Cylons can do that, man, that messes with humanity.
Got a question.
I got an answer.
Have the Cylons just completely foregone sexuality or sexual identification or
What do you-
sexual preference?
Sexual preference, I could say yes. I would agree.
I think the Silence view as a means to an end.
So they don't really have
I just think
have
that-
a one or the other, because obviously the models aren't programmed a certain way. They can't be, because we've seen the
Gina
genome, the
sleep with
6
men
model
and
model
women.
number 6.
yeah, or yes, yeah.
Again,
Is it more just tactical?
I think it's tactical. I think it's situational. Whatever situation they're given is what they adapt to. And
I actually think this is a product of the show itself, because they've shown. I don't know if we've seen it as much in here yet, but there will be later on. Sexuality is very fluid in this show.
I think we've seen a little
we've
bit
seen
of it.
that even in the
Yeah.
locker rooms where it's like
Yeah.
men and women change. It's not a big deal. We don't look at sexuality the same way.
Yeah, we've seen. I think we've
There's
seen a
been a
lot
little
of sexual fluidity.
I've seen at least a little bit. There's been some.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But I think that's a part. I think on one episode they said my dad's or my mom's or something like that.
Well, they just pluralize everything, though.
Well, yeah, gods and everything. But so
My
we've seen.
dads.
I've just thought of it like, again, the Cylons are modeled after the humans, and they're basically them. So they're doing the same thing the humans
Yeah.
do. Okay, I like this guy. Okay, I like this girl, or I want to hook up with this girl. I want to.
I do enjoy how it's just there. That there's no pomp and circumstance. It's just there.
Yeah, there's no preaching. There's
Yeah.
none of that, which is a product of a lot of the shows today. Spend a lot of time preaching, like showing it and then lecturing you about it. Whereas this just kind of lets it be,
Or
stand
at
on
least
its own.
pointing it out. Here it was just there, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but
But going back to when Kane shot her XO in the face, it's kind of nice juxtaposition, because that's when what's her face shot her in the face too. So she did that.
Gina,
Yeah, she did
Gina
that.
shoots her in the face in her room, in the ready room.
just like she did her XO.
Yeah. What did Kane say to her when she was about to do that? Oh, you shut the frack up or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she like gave it back to her.
I like the XO.
I know he was a good
I was
XO.
like, oh man, I like this guy.
Oh, yeah, the
Yeah.
guy that died.
I know
Yeah,
you're
he
gonna.
was-
Well, the second he's on the screen, because the first interaction you have with him was when he goes into her office and be like, "You need to take some time for yourself. You work too hard," and you're like, "Oh,
Kiss ass.
he's about to die."
Yeah, he gone.
Yeah.
And it's kind of sad because you see they have a good relationship.
The one scene, well, I did like it. It did seem to elevate very quickly, like him just saying, because he didn't flat out deny, and then she's like, "Are you denying my order?" When it was just him trying to
Talk
make
her
sure-
off the ledge.
Yeah, making sure he saw it out. So
Yeah.
it just seemed like it took that next step
Yeah.
really quick, and I'm like, "Whoa, okay."
Oh, I didn't. So I thought that more of a like he's trying to calm her down, and she was the one who's like, she puffed her chest, and then he realized he had to take a stand.
Okay,
That's how I viewed
That's
it. Like
fair.
she's puffing her chest at me. She's not gonna she's not even hearing me. So I need to really show her she respects me. She trusts me. So if I disobey this command, this will stop her. Like because they have such a good trust between each other.
That's fair.
And
Little did he
instead,
know she's a psychopath.
Yeah, and she's like, "Give me
your sidearm.
You're gonna shoot a man with his own gun? That's rough."
What the heck? Give me your sidearm.
She
Wow.
I do enjoy how everybody was shell shocked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like how they actually portrayed that.
Yeah, they didn't know what to do. Well, and multiple times, right? When she ordered the boarding of the civilian fleet.
And ordered them shot.
And then the Marines are like, are we really going to do this? And I don't think the current XO was going to do it. I don't think Fisk was going to do it.
I don't think he was either.
It seems like Fisk was a decent
He-
guy
he was
during this time frame.
Yes, exactly. But once you open that can of worms, how do you... Okay, I'm on a black market, but like earlier I killed a bunch of civilians. Like once you kill civilians for no reason, who cares about a black
Right.
market?
Yeah.
Like you've already gone dirt low,
So how do you think Fisk would have handled that? Do you think he would have continued to give warnings and tried to coerce them into doing what they needed to avoid harm? At what point do you?
I don't know.
What because they were going to resist. They were outnumbered.
They were going to resist no matter what. It
Yeah.
was going to be a case like the Battlestar Galactica where they start rioting and, and the officer pulls the gun.
And they accidentally start shooting people. Yeah.
So, and that's the thing. Does it really matter? Because the ends are the same. The Galactica was an accident. Here it was purposeful. In the end, people still end up dead.
Shaw was brutal though.
And then just stood there like a statue after that. I did like the stare down between the engineer and her too in that scene. And it also makes you wonder how this guy is like so. Well, I was gonna say because when he meets the Battlestar Galactica crew, he's like, "Yeah, I kind of got drafted onto the ship and blah blah blah."
Drafted,
but he's scared. He's too scared to say anything because he's witnessed what that crew will do. He'll kill you. They'll kill you dead.
50. They ravaged 15 ships.
Yeah, 15 ships.
Did they say how many people that was? Or there was just 15 ships?
They did not say how many people it was, but like, let's say on that ship we saw, 60, 70 people in the hangar bay? So let's just assume 1,000 people roughly. That's still 1,000 people.
Right.
In total for the ships?
And then 15? The Pegasus, yes. And the Pegasus lost 730, I think they said.
800
something.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
And the initial attack, which those things I'm assuming carry 4,000 to 5,000 people.
I want to look at now. After hearing that, I want to look how big that thing is. You know how that
the Pegasus?
They do those size comparisons.
Yeah.
I want to look it up now because that thing's got to be massive.
Oh yeah. Well, they're like aircraft carriers, right? Aircraft carriers are
essentially.
Massive.
They're bigger than aircraft carriers.
Yeah, they would be.
They'd be a lot bigger than an aircraft carrier.
Bigger than aircraft carriers, but. Yeah, I liked how they portrayed. I liked that the initial attack that they portrayed at the Scorpion
shipyard. I like, to Joe's point earlier, I like how they explained how they were able to avoid everything.
Yeah,
their system was down. They had to install the new one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and they were able to get out of because of that.
And to make the blind jump.
Yeah, that was my favorite part of the whole movie was like how it just filled in some gaps.
That would have been nice to see.
It colored some pages to the story. It's like, okay, I see.
Yeah. And this would have been a really nice thing to see in the miniseries. We just hear of the fleet all going down, but we never saw it. Part of it was because they didn't have the budget at that point, right?
Yeah.
They didn't know if the show would work, and then it got the ratings, and so that's why they did this. They had the money finally to show.
Universal backed it too.
Yep, exactly. But I mean, the fleet yards look pretty cool, and you saw the
there's a lot of upgrade in CGI because you saw the little people running as the ship was trying to take off and everything. Yeah, there was definitely there's a bigger budget for this thing.
It was really, and it was kind of cool when they showed it jump and it sucked in the flames and everything with it. That was a cool shot. I forgot about that shot because it's almost like it's a vacuum, which is pretty cool.
Right.
But I dug that too. I really, and also to know that they were just like calm and relaxing, nothing was going on, and then all of a sudden, boom!
Yeah, everything was going on.
Like it's kind of in a way, it's like Pearl Harbor, right?
Right.
You know, just minding your business, working on your ship, polishing your gun.
Boom,
boom! All of a sudden,
shakalaka,
you dying. From downtown,
he's on fire.
He's on fire.
Too soon.
NBA Jam, baby.
Damn.
NBA Jam.
Have some respect.
I'm glad you caught into the
gentlemen.
context of that.
NBA Jam. One of my biggest problems with this one is actually I did not like the actress for Kendra Shaw.
I did. I thought
really?
she was fine.
I thought like there was something about her that felt like her.
Well,
her acting didn't seem great.
To me, I view that as the way she was supposed to be as a character because she was supposed to be off,
like shell-shocked and off-sensed the killing of the civilians.
Initially, not sure what she should do, and then transitioning several times during the short time frame.
Yeah,
I thought that's just the way that that she was directed to act,
okay.
and then what the kind of absorb what the character was going through as well.
Her name was Stephanie Jacobson, by the way, and she really hasn't done much in acting.
Probably because everybody who was going to hire her saw this.
She shot a civilian in the head.
She shot. Yeah, we're like, no, you're
Yeah.
not. You're not going to be in anything else. And
So that's a golden rule: no women or children.
she
Don't
didn't do
shoot.
much. She was in Terminator: Sarah Connor Chronicles. That was her. Oh, and then Melrose Place
Nice.
in 2009 and 2010. So that was her big roles. But
All right.
that's about it since then. I didn't love her as a character.
No, neither did I.
I mean, and then
They spent a lot of time on a character that you're not ultimately going to be like,
you know they're gonna kill off, right?
Yeah.
I did like how her and Kara hated each other, and then ended up like, "Are we best friends?" Yep. like,
They're both.
if
Bums.
they're both like,
been an honor, Captain.
"Are we both loose cannons?" Yep.
Yeah, they're both.
all right.
Bums. They're both bums.
Yeah, yeah.
Joe loves Starbuck.
I have soured on her so quickly. It's not even funny.
That's intentional, though. I think the writers intended for her to have
you know what?
big fall from.
A big round of applause
if
for
you're-
Ronald D. Moore because it worked.
If you're going to have this much screen time with somebody, though, you got to make them a little more palatable.
I don't think it's that. That's
She
just
is.
not-
She is. It's not fun.
Good news, though. No Baltar this episode.
They didn't mention his name though.
Yeah.
You know what though? Now that Baltar's out in the open as a dirtbag, I think
Yeah.
it makes it easier to like.
Well, he's.
I'm sure no one's going to notice that he's a dirtbag still. They'll be like, oh, this
But
wasn't his
remember,
fault.
this
know
is
he's a
pre-election,
dirtbag.
so
That they know. Yeah, this is
This-
pre-election, but now
we wouldn't be seeing him taking the brunt of a Cylon overtake. So
yeah.
I don't need. But I have a question.
Yeah.
Am I just missing something, or is it? Is this the nuclear explosion that
No.
led the Cylon? Okay, that was later.
No, that was later. Yeah, this was
So now we've had 2 nuclear explosions.
well. So nuclear weapons are used all the time.
Yeah,
in
that's
this.
they fire nukes. That's the kind of their
That's
primary
that's
weapon.
their-
That's their photon torpedo.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. That's their.
I must have. I guess I was like,
Yeah, that's their main. I mean, I don't
That's
think
their
it's in.
quantum torpedo, actually.
Yeah,
The one
it's
that does-
yeah. It's like it's not unlimited supply, but they do like the Battlestar Galactica had like 6,
Yeah.
right? So they use them when they have to, but they
Okay.
usually stick.
And
with,
they gutted one of the rockets for that nuclear device that then Baltar gave to whatever 6 that was, and she blew up a bunch of ships.
Mm-hmm.
and that's the explosion. That
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Word.
Word to your mother. Word to your mother. So we got let's see. Let's go with Lee's or not Lee. Well, yeah, let's talk about Lee's choice of Kendra Shaw as his commander.
Idiot.
She was peeling tomatoes or potatoes.
Mm.
She'd been demoted because she's not paying it. She's not listening to any XO's order. And he's like, "Why didn't you listen to Fisk or whatever?" And she's like, "The one didn't deserve respect, and the other one was too focused on the ship and not the crew." So I hated them. They didn't deserve my respect. And because of that, Lee's like, "Okay, you're my XO now."
Yeah.
I don't know if you want someone who's like, there is something to be said about having someone who will tell you the truth. But there's also something to be said who's someone who respects you but will still tell you the truth. I don't know if she respects him
I don't think anybody in the ship respects him necessarily.
because he's an outsider.
Yeah, because
Right.
they've been bred to be only. I mean, they've pretty much been said even when the Battlestar Galactica came around, it's Pegasus or nothing.
Yeah,
Pegasus is inbred. They are.
Yeah, in a
It's-
way, yeah.
they are.
It's
But
them
they're-
or
They're mentally inbred.
Pegasus versus everybody.
And I think we're seeing like we see in the Galactica crew like they're kind of a hot mess, man. Like their relationships are messed up. The chain of command ain't working right. But the Pegasus is like, this is so important to us that we follow military procedure. Dude, you're a hot mess too, just in a different sort of way.
His XO killed innocent women and children.
Yeah, well, I know, but it's a different form of hot mess. That's what I'm getting at. Like they're so wrapped up in the chain of command that they've lost their
I know,
souls.
but what?
And
Like
it's-
he's obviously reading her file, unless they don't put what
I don't
happened on
think
the
I
file.
don't think it went in there that
I
she
think some
killed.
things were left out.
Yeah.
That's because he was like, I heard you were at the whatever it was called.
Yeah, and you didn't tell me or something like that. And
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I'm
think that
thinking
was left out.
I think that whole thing was left out of the files.
I would question the reporting
Oh, there's definitely
on the Pegasus.
there's
Which
definitely
is ironic because remember when Kane is like, I looked at your logs, Adama. You don't have any right to tell me what to do with your ship. And I mean, I get it. She's crazy. She's now determined her way or the highway. But it's just so funny that this person is sitting there judging your logs when they purposely murdered people. purposely civilians, purposely murdered civilians. It blows my mind.
All because of one
Gata. No, I'm kidding. I was listening to our last episode on the way here, and you blamed Gata for everything.
It was his fault last time.
It was his fault last time, and this time it was Gina's fault.
Yeah, it was Gina's fault. Ooh, man, could you imagine being Gina? They got you chained up on the floor now. Things are fine right now. Like, they haven't done anything to you yet. And Kane brings this lieutenant in there and is basically giving the orders, do whatever you have to do. Be as vile, do whatever.
Degrading.
Degrading whatever it takes. And like, right in front of her. Ooh, that's all you need. I will sing like a church choir at that moment. I will tell you whatever you want to know. Just don't do that to me. I guess she doesn't know what's coming yet, though.
No.
Poor Gina.
So the question at the end of the episode, where the commendation for even Kane or Shaw.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you guys at on that?
It happens all the time.
I'm sure it does.
I don't think it's... Well, this is what's so tricky. It's not,
and is there
it's not the right move.
And is it the difference between Kane and Shaw? Forgetting, kind of rewriting history a little bit.
Is there a difference between Kane and Shaw?
Yeah. Is there pro for Kane
Yes.
versus Shaw? So
Shaw killed one person. Kane killed thousands.
You think Shaw just killed one person on
that ship?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she probably did other stuff that we didn't see, right? Because then she basically became Kane's lapdog. Like, do what I say.
Well, remember when she shot that guy?
Or attack dog.
And it was non-linear. They didn't film it linear, but so she shoots the guy at the end flashback scene, but at the beginning, it was Fist that she was down here like this, like bending down. He goes, it's over.
Yeah.
So did she just shoot the one and then kind of go?
Oh, yeah, that was my impression. She shot the person and was like, what the heck did I do? Mm. But again, how do you come back from that? My understanding is that she never truly came back from that moment. So she was she was Kane's attack dog up until that moment, and then that's kind of when she almost checked out, if you will.
Right.
I don't anticipate her really being a good officer after that moment.
To me, the Kane versus Shaw debate is Jordan versus Kobe.
Thank you for not saying LeBron.
Well, because Kobe,
appreciate it.
LeBron is one of the GOATs, man.
He is, but
one of.
Hold on, but it's a very specific reason I said that, because Kobe was a Jordan clone. Absolute clone. He took everything from Jordan. He did everything the way Jordan did. He was a clone of Jordan. LeBron is a different animal. He is one of the greatest players of all time, but he is not a Jordan clone.
No.
He's his own type of player. We've never seen a player like him before.
Yeah.
Jordan and Kobe Jordan's the greatest. He's the GOAT. No one will ever be Jordan. But if anybody was ever as close as they could be to Jordan, it was Kobe. Mm-hmm. That's how I see Shaw and Kane.
Okay, that makes sense.
To me, they're almost the same.
Same person.
But
see, I think
Shaw is growing to be more Kane-ish until Kane probably died.
See, I think Shaw, though.
I don't think she was there yet.
This is where it gets troubling to me, because Kane made her own choices, right? She made the decision to shoot her first. She made these decisions on her own without anyone coaching her, teaching her how to do these things. She took Shaw and molded her, broke her down, molded her, and made her the way she wanted to. So I almost view Shaw in a lot of ways as a victim here.
I don't view it as that, but I definitely view Kane as kind of a cult leader. And she's indoctrinated these people and worn them down to come to her way of thinking.
Well, yeah, I mean, she quickly, but it makes sense. Adama could have done that with his crew.
Yeah, and he says,
you just witnessed 700 of your crewmates killed, 800.
I have a question for you. After Kane dies, what's Shaw's excuse?
At that point, she's gone. She doesn't pay any attention. She's cutting potatoes, peeling potatoes.
Yeah, but she talks to Lee as if I am Kane's legacy. I am Kane's.
Yeah, but she's not saying it with pride at that point. She wants to die. That was Lee's whole point. Like, you did some terrible things and you think you're punishing yourself for it, but this isn't solving anything. It's not fixing anything.
Yeah, but she's flat out said that she didn't respect anybody else but her.
And she told Starbuck at one point, disrespecting orders or ignoring orders
Doesn't work well on this ship.
Doesn't go well on the ship.
It was true though. It didn't go well.
But that's living in the past, not the current regime.
There's no fear. There shouldn't be any fear of continuing to be the victim or doing things the way that Kane did. She should be able to break out of that mold. And I think peeling potatoes would give you a lot of perspective, a lot of downtime to really mull over the things and choices you've made and to come out completely different. It doesn't seem like she did.
Oh, well, I agree, but I think you have a choice to make. Do you make that change in yourself after something, or do you double down now and be like, live in denial? Right? No, this was the right way. Because if I admit what I did was wrong, then I am a total dirtbag of a person. I am a terrible human being.
She's a dirtbag no matter what.
I'm not saying she's not, but like she's living in that denial, or not living in that denial. She's
living in that world or whatever it is.
She's doubling down.
And if she had really been indoctrinated by Kane's way of thinking, that's a hard thing to get out of too.
Right. How do you go back from killing an innocent civilian? Because this entire
crew is still holding on to that.
Yeah, to this moment. How do you go back?
The more impressive thing. So it was 10 months between when the attack happened and now where we're at.
Yeah.
In 10 months, Kane had really worn them down to the way of thinking. And
Did you see the snap? Like she snapped.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Oh, in that moment when she realized her lover betrayed her.
I'm just saying, even like to get the whole crew in that way of thinking too, it just blows my mind. And I know it's probably why it blows my mind the most is because I know it can be done.
I mean, we saw it in this country after September 11th. We're like, kill everyone in the Middle East, even though we had no proof, no evidence. We were all on board.
It's immediate.
Yeah,
something like that.
And we want to romanticize it in history and be like, no, there was people who were saying no. It was all, we want to blame just George Bush for it. No, we were asking, we were treating George Bush like Pontius Pilate, like crucify him, crucify the Muslims, like kill all of them. That's what we were doing. And now we can look back and be like, whoa, that was a bad call, what we did. And there were some voices, don't get me wrong. And just like there's probably voices on the Pegasus, but they're not going to win. We saw that.
Yeah, they don't get screen time, I'll tell you that.
They don't get screen time.
They do not.
They don't. And when they do, they get killed pretty quickly. Like, who is the second commander after Fisk? He was the one who's like, yeah, this ship has been run
Mr.
poorly.
McAllister?
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Forget his name. They mentioned him.
Yeah, I don't know. He was a bad commander, too.
Yeah.
Didn't deserve respect.
It's a bad dad. He forgot his son 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
Idiot.
So one of the things we haven't talked about really at all, so there was the flashback to Bill Adama. You didn't think that was good, but let's not dive into that part of it. You didn't like him as an actor.
That actor was terrible.
Okay. So they actually did a prequel thing called Blood and Chrome, where they followed a young Bill Adama. I don't think it's the same actor though. I think they changed it. So we get Bill Adama going in there in his early Viper pilot days. He was on the Galactica at that point, and he goes into a room and he sees body parts everywhere. So the early Cylon models, and he sees these things. Do these things not get reported?
Right. This is just now coming up.
Or is this like a case like Indiana Jones where they're like, yeah, give it to us. We'll look into it. And then they put it in a box and you zoom out and it's a big warehouse full of boxes of information.
I don't know.
Like you think to be like, yeah, they're experimenting on humans. They have like human-looking Cylons in bathtubs.
Just seems like a weird thing to not be mentioned for the past 2 seasons.
What's going on?
I mean,
I know. I'm just.
It's television.
I know.
Yeah, television always does that.
I know. I'm just saying. You think it would have came up?
You'd
think.
Thoughts on the idea that they got these hybrid things piloting their ships, talking all gibberish and laying in bathtubs of
like Borgish?
Almost, yeah, almost, kind of same idea, right? Like one to control the hive, almost.
Right. It's funny.
You don't like it?
I didn't think it was necessary.
Okay,
it's too much, I think.
I like the idea that they were a step in their evolution, or they were trying to become more human-like. And they were a failed model, so they're like, "What can we have them do?" Okay, they can pilot the ships.
Well, I mean,
because that's what they basically are.
To kind of piggyback Rob's point, this plot point to me was annoying because the first 2 seasons we hear Adama saying, "We're trying to study them. We're trying to find out like what they're trying to do, who they are, what they are."
Yeah,
and this is a big piece of information.
Yeah. Bro, you were in a room where you saw Cylon like arms that looked like human arms. So
I mean, it's not.
there wasn't a
doesn't-
hybrid in that tub for him, was there? He put his hand in there and he felt things, like he saw things in
He
his
had
head.
like a
They grabbed his
hallucination.
arm.
Well, that was a
No,
hallucination.
he
was it?
hallucinated
Yeah.
the grab of the arm, but he saw the people in the room and he saw all.
Because he had seen the body parts.
He saw
and
the
stuff.
arms with Cylon material running out of the arms.
And what a
and-
knucklehead to just. I mean, you walk up on a tub with liquid in it, and you're just like,
Let me put my hand in
I'm
there.
just gonna put my whole hand. Take the glove off and dip it in. Does it evaporate or does it dissolve?
I know.
You
What
might
kind
not
of-
want to dip your whole goddamn
Do
arm
some
in there.
scientific experiments, bro. And I'm assuming that because the base star took off and left, so that place was still there. So I'm assuming the colonies could go in and investigate, save the civilians.
But didn't they go back at the end of the episode or the movie? Isn't that where they went?
No, they didn't go there. No, that was just a base star that was traveling,
Yeah, unrelated.
and they ran into them. They were just minding their business, and the Cylons attacked.
Mm.
And they had the old school Cylons by your command. Wow.
But I liked when he got. He's like, yeah, they left. I'm here. They're gone. Sorry.
Sorry. The war's
They're like
over,
they're
man.
like the war's over. Man. He's like, yeah, but they left. They're gone. They're totally gone. They're like, they signed the treaty. Yeah, but
they're just gone,
yeah,
man.
they're gone.
They just left. So, and I. No,
they get the war is over. News spreads quick. Silence were like, oh, it's over. All right, we're out of here. Let's go get lunch.
Man, I have a. Could be a spoiler. I'm not going to say it. So moving on from that.
Yeah, moving on.
What a tease.
No, it was like I guess it's not a spoiler. They'll expand
is.
more. They'll expand more upon that, like the sudden ending of the war and all that.
Okay.
Oh.
We'll get more information on that. So
10-4.
in the following seasons.
News that Kane just shoots people got made, and the Silence were like, we're done.
Hey,
we'll sign. Where's the papers? We'll sign it.
They got some crazies over there.
Well, that war ended what 50? What did they say? 58 years ago or something like that. A long time ago. Bill's old.
Yeah, he is.
He's like in his 70s, I think. As a
Yeah,
commander.
I think it was 4. I think it was 40. The flashback was 40 years.
42 years or something
like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So I was trying to do the math. I'm like, he's probably in his
We're assuming
60s. So
late
he's probably
60s, early 70s.
Probably in his mid 20s here.
I mean, they do call him old man, so
Yeah.
I mean that kind of tracks.
I mean, the older I get, the more offended I get at people be like, yeah, he's 61, he's old. I'm like, you shut up.
That's like
shut the
20
hell-
years
you
from
shut
now.
the
You
hell up
shut
right
your
now.
mouth. You shut
I'll be
your
there.
mouth.
I'll be there in no time, and I'll be damned if anyone's going to talk to me like that.
Do you see that picture I put of us on the Keeping Up with the Cardassians
Uh-huh.
Instagram? Holy crap, we're old. We were young then.
We were young. Yeah. Speaking of baiting, we have plenty of pictures together where there were arms around each other. We're just
I believe I took the first.
we're just just gazing at each other.
I know what you're
Yeah.
gonna say. Did I spend that whole like first 15 minutes of an episode just staring at his crotch?
It happens.
Oh no,
What are we gonna?
I did the Riker maneuver next to you, and you were staring at mine. That's what it was.
That also happens.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
You never know. Look on Joe's OnlyFans. It'll be there.
Do you get paid for that? Because I haven't got paid. Oh, you gotta have.
You gotta have subscribers.
You got to have
That's the
subscribers
thing.
to it. Yeah,
Damn it.
exactly. If you don't have subscribers, it's not really worth it.
I think my subscriber to content ratio is probably the worst in the history of OnlyFans.
So I never realized. I'm trying to get us back on track.
What?
This was not on TV. This was straight to DVD.
Straight to DVD, yeah. Because I remember when we got
You don't say.
it. Because Universal put it out. That's why they contributed to it. That
Yeah.
and I think there was one other one. Maybe it was Your Blood and whatever.
Blood and Chrome.
Water.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I will
So-
say that the production. I could tell that there was a little bigger budget.
Yep.
But I don't think the production value was necessarily too elevated.
No,
No.
it didn't feel that different.
Like the
It felt like
cinematography.
it felt like a more
yeah.
like a just a big episode.
They
And with better CGI.
it did not have the grainy look. They got rid of the grainy look,
Yeah.
and there weren't the quick takes.
Thank God.
Like there wasn't the shaky cam.
To be all fair, there hasn't been a ton of that except for in battle scenes lately.
No, they
Yeah.
dialed it back.
They have.
Which I think was in response to this. They were shifting out of that area. Early 2000s were shaky cam, and then people started to revolt against it. So I think we're seeing that. I'm looking at production notes, and it says one of the initial ideas for the episode is that it would open back to flashbacks of the Cylon War. In one sequence, Lieutenant William Husker Adama would pilot his Viper in a battle over a planet, with Galactica and Columbia engaging a Cylon fleet. See, I would have liked to have seen that. A couple Battlestars actually fighting some base stars. That would have been nice. And another set of flashbacks, they were going to show a young Helena Kane
Nailed it.
would be introduced struggling to survive a Cylon bombardment on her homeworld, causing severe destruction to civilian buildings. Which that would have been fascinating. She's traumatized from the Cylon, so she wants to
I think the only traumatization that you need
Nailed it.
traumatization.
They wiped out the human race.
But they didn't. They're still around.
You don't need to go much further than that, other than you wiped out the human race.
I mean, I agree.
I mean, why add salt to it?
I'm not disagreeing.
That's all we need. You wiped out the human race.
Yeah, I'm not agreeing.
People are probably going to be a little bitter. Maybe just a little bit.
That's a bummer.
Yeah.
That is a bummer.
I don't think you need to make more trauma for Kane.
Oh, the original opening for Razor was inspired by Apocalypse Now, but they cut it. It would have been cool.
Oh, Apocalypse Now is badass.
It would have been better if it was Tupacalypse Now.
Tupacalypse Now is even more badass.
Yes, sir.
What else?
Let me see. Nothing else that really is standing out. Yeah, nothing really. Oh, shootings are more graphically violent than Battlestar Galactica normally shows on television. Oh, yeah, because when Kane shoots Belzen, you see a lot of blood splatter on the glass wall behind him.
Yeah.
Usually only the entry wound is shown and the camera avoids the area behind the head, such as when number 6 is shot in Precipice and 3 in Hero. A similarly graphic scene where a Marine is wounded by Centaurians on the Guardian base star is missing from the television version but included in the unrated DVD.
That was a lot of words and I spaced out halfway through.
Yeah, I know. Basically, they showed a lot of blood.
I took a nap.
They showed a lot of blood, which they did.
I
It was pretty
did notice
violent.
that the shootings were a bit more graphic.
Yeah, a bit more.
Which is fine. It's a movie. It's a feature.
Mm-hmm.
What else? It did, like I said, it felt like a big episode to me.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I really liked the context that it provided.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it because this was supposed to be leading into season 4, building up the hype for the final season.
I don't understand the timing of it though, because you're saying it came out at the end of season 3.
Exactly.
That's it should have come out after
season 2. It would have fit really well.
It would have been
This
perfect.
came out
But
8 months after season 3 ended.
Yeah, almost right before. I think it actually started as like the premiere of season 4. Actually.
Well, then why the hell is it episode 21 on Peacock?
I don't. Well, this
Season
is
3,
kind of
21.
part of how Sci-Fi treated this series. They treated it poorly, just like kind of like DS9 was treated poorly. They, it was critically acclaimed. Everyone loved it, but they kind of like,
Everybody got sick of Starbuck.
Mm-hmm. All right. Shall we go to anything else?
No, I'm good.
I'm good.
I'm
Okay.
good. I'm good too. Let me go pull up our sheet here for Razor, Keeping Up with the Cardassians, Battlestar Galactica ratings. I'm just gonna throw this in the second season here. Razor. I hardly knew her. All right.
Raising Cain.
Razor. Let's rate it. We're gonna put it in season 2 because that's technically what I consider it. Season 2.
I consider this is like, I don't know. They already did season 2.5. I was gonna say this is like season, but they did 2.0.
This
2.5.
is 2.85.
Yeah, I say 2.85. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll go first. I'll give this a 7.
I'm there with you. 7.
7.
Oh, wow. Listen. 7.5.
Dang it!
Ah.
Here I thought we were going to hit the jackpots, all 7s, and you give it a 7.5.
Yeah. I don't know. I was thinking about this while watching it.
Why don't you go to these reviews going,
I know.
7, 8, 9, 10. It's like, what the hell, Joe?
But here's the thing. I like the episodes, but the show is like irritating.
I get it. Trust me, I get it.
So like some of the episodes and stuff, like they're really good. I like the discussion points.
You just get mad.
But like some of the characters suck. Like I'm like, I don't know. I don't like some of the production stuff. But the episodes, And then in totality, it's like Joe rated this season the highest of all 3. I'm like, yeah, but I don't know that I even really liked it.
You clearly did. You clearly did.
I was thinking about that during the movie. I'm like, I hate a lot of things, but it's good. I like it, but I hate it at the same time.
You know, it's so interesting because I think it was so important for them to show flawed characters, right? For Ronald D. Moore to show flawed characters. But then at some point you're like, man, they're so flawed, like they're just not
Can we
likable.
get a good guy?
Yeah.
Somebody good?
Hilo's a good guy.
Hilo's a sucker. He's a bum.
See,
Will Adama's a good guy.
Bill Adama.
Bill
is.
Adama's a good guy.
He is a good guy.
And I like
Ty's.
Ty's he's a drunk. Although he'd probably pick up the tab, so I'd.
Then, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, he would. He would pick up the tab.
Ellen is a good guy. Oh wait,
No.
D isn't bad.
he doesn't like D.
I don't like D.
Yeah, you don't like D. Gata?
He's a traitor.
No, he wasn't. Gata wasn't. What did Gata do?
He tried to do the right thing. In the
He
long
did the
run.
right thing.
No, he's a traitor.
No, he's not. You're a traitor, you dirtbag.
Baltar's awesome.
You're a dirtbag.
Leo Adama's not bad.
Gata's a rat. He's like,
He had
oh,
his,
you
he
don't-
had his
He's
backed up.
kind of vanilla, though.
Yeah.
Gata, he's a rat. I don't like that, so I'm telling on you.
No, you broke the law, so I'm telling on you.
Oh, so you rat out every jaywalker or someone who runs a red
He
light?
stole an election. That's a little different.
But with good
Here's
reason.
Nick. This guy just ran a red light in front of me. Oh, yeah, I'll call you back in 5 minutes when the next thing happens.
And I'm actually calling on myself.
I know.
Actually, I'm pulled over.
I just rolled through a stop sign, so
Come give me a
Sir,
ticket.
we're investigating a murder right now.
Yeah.
You don't understand. Someone could have been hurt.
Yeah. I rolled a stop sign in a parking lot.
So next week we're back on the season 3.
How are you going to be back on something we haven't started?
That's a good point. That's a good point. So we are starting season 3 next
Yay.
week, which
Fun.
means we're going back to New Caprica.
ugh.
We're gonna see. I like the New Caprica stories. You just give us some time. We got 2 episodes to review.
You also like the show.
Yeah.
because it's a good show. Occupation and Precipice are the episodes we watch, and then the week after that, Exodus Part 1 and
2.
Part 2.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. So that's a feather in the cap of this show. It does not split up parts 1 or 2.
Oh, Exodus Part
That's-
2 is one of my favorite hours of television as well.
You know,
I love that
naming
episode.
something part 1 and part 2 and having different titles, that's psychotic behavior. I mean, that's insanity.
Did I already tell you that the season 4 finale has a Part 1, 2, and 3?
And it's all named the same?
Yeah, it's all the same.
Oh my God. Orgasmic. Part 1 and 2. Oh,
Yeah,
hold on.
part 1 and 2,
I just
baby.
I just remembered something in my brain. Did you guys catch what was said in this? There was something that is very, very fun to this show. There was a My Child dropped.
Was there?
Was
Yes.
there?
Yes.
No, there wasn't.
There 100% was a My Child.
Who dropped it?
I believe it was the old man in the water.
Oh, to Bill. As
No.
he-
No,
To
the girl.
Shaw. To Shaw.
Yeah.
oh, yes, right when she's getting ready to blow him up. Yes.
Mm-hmm. There was
yes.
a My Child. Because it was after he
Yes,
said he was
Queen.
because it was after he said he was a god.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was talking to her and he said something and then he said My Child.
yeah.
And I was like,
I noticed there's an episode
nice.
coming up called Collaborators.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, ooh,
Mm-hmm.
we gonna see some Bajorans.
Was that the name of the episode?
It's like episode 4 or 5.
Yeah.
It's called Collaborators. coming up.
No. In DS9.
There is an episode called Collaborators, isn't there?
Yeah.
And
Is that
then-
what, I was
and
wondering.
that's
if
what
that
they call any Bajorn
Yeah.
that worked with the
I just wasn't sure if that was the name of the episode. So
I don't know. I think there was Collaborator.
The collaborator.
Yeah.
That'd be funny if it was just like a complete redressing of the episode,
That would
shot
be
for shot.
Or
fantastic.
no, not a redressing. It was the exact episode, but they did like bad CGI, so they rubbed off the ridge of their nose and like overdubbed
What
talking.
are these characters?
Garrick's on the screen, and they've like washed, like softened his skin, so it's not ridged up.
Especially the silence.
We need some Garrick.
I miss Garrick.
Yeah, we need some Garrick.
I will say this is the one thing that when you're watching multiple episodes of these every week, it's not an uplifting show, and it's like I need some joy.
Battlestar. Yeah, there's no like every once in a while we would get like a Ferengi episode, and you're like, you just kick back and
you're
relax.
like, cool. Or
I mean,
and nothing matters in this episode. We're just having fun.
I mean, Bishop O'Brien going on an adventure.
Yeah.
Where's Moogie in a One Piece to show you like
where is Intendant Kara?
Right.
You're not getting any of those.
You get more of that. I mean, there's
I know, but where is she?
You're not getting it.
There's floozies all over the Galactica.
Yeah, there is.
But what I'm saying is, where's Moogie?
Yeah.
There's no Moogie.
No Moogie.
No Moogie. Sorry.
No Moogie.
There's no Quark. There's no Quark dressed up in a
dress.
In a dress.
Yeah.
There really is not a lot of comic relief on this show.
There really isn't. It's a serious show.
I think you have to be prepared for that because it is, and it's just it works on you.
It does
because there's really no relief from.
There's
the
no
tension.
hope, man.
There's no hope, no tension.
Things suck every week. They don't get any better.
But I think that is. I want to give a tip of the cap to like the writers and Ronald D. Moore. I think it is a feather in their cap that they're able to keep everybody going.
Yeah.
Without exhausting their attention span or their willingness to continue with the show.
Yeah.
Because it is so hopeless.
Well, and
without any sort of reprieve from that, even briefly.
Well, in addition to that, it's not only just for the characters on the show, but to actually get this to stick with it with the studio and being like, all right, you got to loosen it up. You got to have a one-off fun episode.
They tried that.
Nope, we're not doing it.
That's like a band going
we need a hit.
But that's like a band going and releasing 4 albums.
Yeah.
And the studio being like, "Where's the hit?
Yeah.
Where's the single? No, these are works of art. We have concepts for these.
Yeah.
There's no you can
no,
pick,
you're getting our full vision.
Here's the single. It's a 5-minute whatever. It's not real radio friendly.
Yeah.
In the words of the band Korn, you all want to see single? I say that.
Jesus Christ, that's a bad song.
Yeah.
It's a very bad song.
Gotta be honest, most Korn songs are pretty bad.
What? Most Korn songs post 2003 are bad.
Which is most Korn songs.
Yeah, after Untouchables.
I think. Well, I don't know.
If you look at how many records,
I think they've released a lot of records.
They've released a lot of. Do you want me to? Okay, quick Korn.
God,
discography.
God damn it! I'm getting fact checked. I think you're probably right.
I think they've released more since then.
All right.
Since Untouchables.
Yeah.
So count you on that.
So we're going.
Untouchables was released in 2002. Okay.
Okay, I know.
Before
As
that,
I said, after
they had issues before that. Follow the Leaders,
Great.
Life is Peachy, and then Korn. So 5 albums.
Okay.
Right. After that, Take a Look in the Mirror, See You on the Other Side, Untitled album, Korn 3, Remember Who You Are, The Path of Totality, The Paradigm Shift, The Serenity of Suffering, The Nothing, Requiem. 9 albums.
I can't believe they've released that many albums.
9 albums since in what's that? 12 years?
Well, no, they came out
20. That's 20.
Really
9 albums in 21 years.
95 was, I think, the first Korn album, or 96 maybe.
Let me see when the first Korn album was. It was
That is
94.
Wow.
Yeah.
But that one was not Korn. That's their. Oh wait, that one has Blind on
Yeah,
there.
it's Blind and it has Shoots and Ladders.
Oh, that has a lot on it.
And
Daddy,
Daddy.
give the dog a
Daddy.
bone. This old man came rolling home.
Look, it did not sound anything like that. There was much more growling.
Dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. Pretty good, right? Pretty good. No,
No, that's not the word.
I don't have a.
It's not good. It is not good.
I don't have a growling voice. That's the problem.
Meow.
And then Life is Peachy came out after that. And what was hits from Life is Peachy?
Adidas.
Mm-hmm.
That was it, though, right?
I think so.
Oh gosh, that was it.
Is it Suchi or Chi?
Chi.
Yeah.
Just Chi.
It's great.
And then Follow the Leader came out, which was by far their biggest.
Fantastic album.
Yes.
Yes. All in the Family. Got the Life. Freak on a Leash. Dead Bodies Everywhere.
That's a great song.
That is a great
Well,
song.
no, you-
Ice Cube.
Have you ever listened to that song in surround sound?
You.
No.
Well, does that part where he goes like that? And it
Yeah.
comes-
You mean all of his songs
it
ever?
comes behind you,
Yeah.
and it's
Is it
it's
so
kind
that-
of creepy.
Was it produced that way, or is that just
I think
a
what's-
product of the way that the stereo?
I think the receivers.
Sends-
That's the way it broke it up.
That's interesting.
Because I don't think I've experienced that really since
Yeah.
the same way. But man, because I had the old Pro Logic, Sony thing back then, And I did this. I literally looked behind me and went, what the hell? It was fantastic.
You know what's really crazy about this? The Hot 100 singles, Got the Life didn't even ever make it. Freak on a Leash only got to 106. On the U.S. alternative charts, Got the Life got to 17 and Freak on a Leash got to 6. That surprises me.
Those are much lower numbers than I would have anticipated because those were huge.
They were pretty big at the time.
They were huge, especially Freak on a Leash.
And that's when
mainly because the music video. For
and that's
Freak
when
on a Leash.
that's when that music was at its
new metal.
zenith,
metal.
at its
New metal.
and its pinnacle.
Yeah.
Very popular. It was.
Yeah.
Well,
That
join us on our Patreon for our
Yeah.
Korn listening album.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
What are gonna?
Oh, speaking of which, my daughter has to go see Godsmack.
Mm-hmm.
Stained is opening up for him.
Did you see that?
I would.
Did you see
I
that
can't
thing I
wait
sent
to
you
hear
guys
that
of the
review.
$20
They're
concerts?
garbage.
Stain?
Outside their first album was fantastic.
No,
I mean
a,
live. I mean
Oh.
him. I mean him. Aaron Lewis as a person.
he's a dirtbag.
Oh, no?
and
really?
Aaron Lewis as a person and the band live. Absolute.
I
in
saw them at a
trash.
Family Values tour like in '99. I don't remember anything about it other than it was very, very loud.
Yeah, that tracks.
I don't know anything about Aaron Lewis outside of that.
He's a dirtbag.
He's a bum.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gents, thanks for being here. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. But follow us on Twitter at Cardassians Pod. We'd love to have you. Follow our TikTok, Keeping Up Cardassians. We're there as well. You can follow
Tic
us on
Tac.
Paddywhack, Give a Dog a Bone. This old man.
Did you mean to say Tic Tac?
Yeah, he did.
Did I say TikTok?
Yeah, you
did
did.
say Tic Tac.
Oh, I meant to say TikTok. Sorry. Follow us there.
Instagram.
Instagram, keeping_up_Cardassians. Wow. Call us 734.
494.
0980.
Excellent teamwork. Makes the dream work,
Patreon.
baby. Patreon, where at?
Patreon.
Yeah, Patreon.com / Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
And there's
Cardassians.
I was also on YouTube. There's some Picard reviews out there. We'll put the TrekCast thing on there too.
Yeah. Did you get authorization to use the video?
Yeah, they said they're going to send it to me.
Nice. Nice. You can see us.
I'm leaving.
Good.
Bye.
Frack you guys.
Fracker.
Ugh.
I swear to gods. All right, guys. Peace out. Bye, Cardies. Okay.
Oh my God. End this podcast, please.